The first thing is why do people have such a difficult time plotting their own course? Okay, that's the question. Why do people have such a difficult time plotting their own course? I mean, I get questions all the time about this kind of thing where the person is trying to either manifest something or do something that just is becoming impossible for them. So every time they try to go into the mainframe and tap into whatever they want to tap into and deviate from this false course that they're on, they get back an error and they get put back into this same cycle. So why is that? Well, it has everything to do with folklore. It has everything to do with these holidays and these calendars and these ritualistic observances that have gone on in a space that transcends space and time. And I'll elaborate on that a little bit more. So this term folklore, this is fairy tales, this is holiday figures such as Santa Claus, et cetera, et cetera. What it's designed to do is to lure you. Look what it's saying. It's going to lure you, pull you off your path, and put you onto some other folks' path. Okay? Folklore. So if you're paying attention to some other folks' culture, some other folks' petri dish, basically, where they're cultivating their own mindsets and mentality based on distortion and distorting the actual facts about astronomical positions and correspondences, putting people in the place of energetic potential that doesn't even have a face and have a name. If you're doing that, then this is what actually makes it difficult for your consciousness to plot its own course. So let's imagine that every single year from the time that you've been born, either if you celebrate or you don't celebrate, something comes across this matrix that gives you an entire story and makes everyone in this matrix feel like they have to assess and get involved in this certain energy. Let's say Christmas. So right now, everyone's in the Christmas cheer. I guess everyone is doing the green and the red, and they're buying the gifts, and all this stuff is going on, right? But see, it's the collective field, because this Christmas goes on all around the world. It's not just a Western holiday. There's a counterpart of it in Germany, Poland, you name it. Anywhere the Gothic traditions have come from, there is going to be Claus or Sinterklaas or whatever name that is going to be given. Because as we get into this, you'll see that it has many names because it's a specific story about a specific kind of being. So some think this is a game, and this is why it's so hard to plot a different course, because if you've been subjected to this frequency, you could even be in a foster home, you could be somewhere else with people that are not even your family, and here they come with Santa Claus, here they come with this same Easter, here they come with this same Bible. And so what's going on is that because this stuff is now what you could say is ancient. I mean, it's 2015. This has been going on for thousands of years. What's happening is that as a being, you're now into this conscious field that transcends other fields. And you can be, so let me just put it into perspective here. There is a field that we all remain in. It's called the collective consciousness, okay? And how we share that field is there's many things that in duality that we don't agree on, supposedly, but there's actually more things that we are very much in agreement on altogether, like earth, like our bodies, like water, like fire, and like every other real building block to the reality in our collective consciousness. We all believe in those things, and that's what links us all. These are the ideals that we all share on the planetary system. So this is because we all send our thoughts, our mind, our body, our soul, even the fibers of our very being into those finite principles, then that's actually where we all meet. And that's called collective consciousness, because I think some people need to start breaking down whatever collective consciousness really is. So in this collective conscious field, this field transcends space and time. This is why people can use telepathy to communicate with someone inside of a submarine that is from 50 or 60 years ago. That they could do things in this collective field like tap into consciousness from thousands of years ago. And it's showing you it's because the collective consciousness field, whatever it's made out of, we don't even need to examine that, but it transcends space and time. So this means that any collective consciousness field, because you'll see them like cells, whether they're like holidays, whether they're like beliefs or whatever, do not adhere to the they do not adhere to the fundamentals of physical energies alone. Like, oh, well, if it's too far out of distance or I lose the signal. No, that's Bluetooth. That's internet. That's Wi-Fi. That stuff loses signals. But in collective consciousness, signals are never lost. They are just waiting to be reanimated and activated by you. So if a person gets triggered back into the same collective consciousness frequency of somebody else's culture, somebody else's frequency or petri dish of distortion, then that's the collective field that all those people begin to share. And because you type in the coordinates, then you put the coordinates in to where you want to go on your path, but this is a road that's already been traveled. It's already scourged into the forest. The path is already cleared. This is what people are doing. They're going down paths that are already cleared and already defined. But they want something new. How does that happen? Because as they keep going down that same path, all the decisions will be made for them. And this is what happens in this matrix right now. When people start realizing even what they have to do with their body alone to get it back on track, you stop eating certain things, you got to clean it out, you may need to go on some fast. They just like, oh my goodness, like all this stuff, this is the wrong way. They start thinking that this is the wrong way because the path is not clear. Their path has been grown over and wild now. It's like the last time they've done any real maintenance on their body, they can't even actually remember. So when it's time for them to actually go down that path of understanding, to actually make some real activity and things going on and some actions within themselves so they can now reap the full benefit of their currency. Plant in your own garden, eat your own fruit. But if you're sitting there planting in someone else's plotted course, and then surprised when they come up and dig up not only your children, but basically your seeds, then this is where all of that comes from. And it comes from the ritualistic observances that are transcending space and time. So let me look over things here really briefly to make sure that I didn't skip over anything. So what I'm saying is, in a nutshell, is that I'm urging you to create your own spiritual beliefs. I'm urging you to create your own observances around significant events in your own life. So even the solstices and the equinox are very significant spaces and times according to the geometric position of the earth. But this doesn't mean that you have to go adapt some, Easter egg bunny and all this weird stuff that these people have cooked up to keep you off of your real consciousness and keep you sunk in the illusionary game. That's what it's really doing. And it's so clear. I see so many people every day. You can't see it, first of all, until you get out of it. But once you get out of it, then you start seeing that it's affecting billions. 6 billion, 6.5 billion people are infected by the ritualistic observances of a culture that has dominated this particular matrix over a countless period of time to a point where it's embedded in the person's consciousness. So when it's time to create something new, when it's time to do something new, when it's time to believe even that you're a cosmos, those things come into question because the last program says you are not. Okay? 0 is the real one. And the 0 means the totality, wholeness, connection. But see, this kind of concept, this kind of bleeding into the reality as a code, 1 is the king. The king is the only one that says, I'm the only one, I'm higher than everyone, no one's like me, blah, 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 blah. That's a program. And the reason why 1 wants to be 0 is how is 1 spelled? O-N-E. The first letter is an O, which is a 0. So it shows you, but these kind of codes, this is how, when you get into the mainframe, you find that what controls the human mind, what controls the human consciousness is totally different than what people think because they're still thinking in English. And until you pull out of that program, that that fermenting petri dish of the culture of the English Gothic God system, then you cannot even interpret any of this. It's always going back to that to see the world. Like, I'm going to see the world through the Bible. I'm going to see the world through the eyes of this God, rather than see the world through yourself. You are the world. See, and that's the leap. That's the quantum leap, because when you talk to people like that, they start, man, they can't, it's like getting off on an island for them, because they can't see where the new island is. They can't see where the path goes. So they rather not travel. They scared. Well, Master's going to get mad. If we leave, Master's going to kill us. Somebody emailed me the other day and they were like, man, Jehovah is definitely mad at you. And I said, man, Jehovah's always mad. Have you read the profile of this program? The program is burning with fire and has no feminine water side. So of course it's going to be mad. What are you talking about? But it's just that whole, well, I'm afraid of it. But see, what I would be afraid of more is losing my soul. And that's why this is called Soul Wars, episode 7, because this is a war for the soul, but it's made to seem like a game. This is why Star Wars comes out. It's all games. It's like, Boba Fett and, the same old characters. And it's all a game. They make the biggest video game. Now they're going to go on the virtual reality video game. Chewbacca's out there. They taking pictures with Chewbacca. They might as well roll Chewbacca in with Santa Claus and all these other characters in this culture of folklore that's luring you away from who you really are. And that's what's really going on. And the moment that the mind realizes that, then a program kicks in and tries to fight it. That program kicks in. Well, no, come on. This is harmless. I love this. And what I'm saying is that this doesn't mean that you have to go get fanatical about it. I'm just saying knowing is really half the battle. And if you don't put this stuff in its proper place, then it will take over you. It has taken over the collective consciousness field. You will find more people lined up for Star Wars than you'll ever see them lined up to benefit themselves and to project their consciousness into a whole nother mainframe beside this whack matrix. But every time you start talking about that, now you're the Scrooge. This is what I say. You start talking about Santa, you're the Scrooge. The Scrooge program kicks in. People kick in. They say, well, I get it all the time. I face more adversity in this particular process of awakening for myself and others than I probably would face if I was a gangbanger. Because at least then you got a group of people that's actually really with you, versus this. You got these so-called conscious people who are really MK Ultra program. And the moment that you get them into your fold is the moment that they trade on you and turn on you like night and day. There's no honor. And it's because of the same path and the same process being followed. But something new has arrived. We're not devoid of creating something new. We are creators. They say, well, there's nothing new under the sun. Well, go beyond the sun then. So when we come forward, because we're about 1 minute from the break, we're going to talk about the true identification behind these characters and programs, exactly how to understand their position so you can deactivate them. And then you're going to start to begin to see where your creativity is, since they're shut off. When you shut off that frequency, that's now when you can begin to broadcast. Because that's what's happening. If there's this static going on, and the static meaning something that's fixed and solid and right there, this static going on, you can't concentrate on yourself. And so this is how you plot the new course for yourself. This is how you get over 4K resolution within your own consciousness, so you really do what you say you're going to do and really be who you're here to be and really accomplish what you set out to accomplish, rather than it coming back null and void. Let not your words or your worlds be null and void.